Welcome back to CapexForexTrading.com. In today's lesson, we're going to focus on two very important subject areas called support and resistance lines. So let's focus on the support line first. So by definition, a support line is a horizontal line that reverses the current downtrend back up in an upwards direction. So what we've got in front of us here is a downtrend. The actual size of the downtrend does not matter. But what you can see in the cluster of candles here is that the downtrend fails to continue downwards and instead it bounces back up in an upwards direction. So if I take a horizontal line and join the lows of that cluster of candles, you can see that that line has not been penetrated by the downtrend. And in fact, that line is the reason why the trend has bounced back up in an upwards direction. Now, in order for this line to qualify as a support line, it needs to have two or more hits. So we've got hit number one, hit number two. At this point, it qualifies as a support line, and all you're waiting to see is how the downtrend will retest that horizontal line. So we've got a retest here and a retest here, and the downtrend, or the pressure from that downtrend, failed to penetrate that line yet again, and instead is bounced back up in an upwards direction. So this here is a standard support line. Now, in terms of a resistance line, the opposite occurs. So by definition, a resistance line is a horizontal line that reverses a current uptrend in a downwards direction. So what we've got here is an uptrend, and again, the size of that uptrend does not matter. But what we can see here is a cluster of candles where an uptrend has failed to continue in an upwards direction and instead is reversed back downwards. So if I take a horizontal line and join the highs this time of that uptrend, you can see that the horizontal line has not been penetrated. And as before, in order to qualify as a resistance line, it needs to have two or more hits. So we've got hit number one, hit number two. This also qualifies as a hit because it's quite close, but on this area here we can see that there is a much more of a confirmation where the line has again failed to be penetrated and instead it bounced back down in a downwards direction. So that is a resistance line. Now, what we also need to discuss is a rule called the change of polarity rule, where basically a support line becomes a resistance line or a resistance line becomes a support line. So let's see how a resistance line can become a support line. So we've got an uptrend here where it failed to continue to go in an upwards direction and instead it reversed slightly. So if I take a horizontal line and join the highs of that upper trend, we can see we've got one hit, two hit there. Now, after the reversal, the trend regained its strength and continued to go back in an upwards direction, and it penetrated the original resistance line. After the penetration, it came back to retest this line and to shoot back up in an upwards direction. But it is this retest from an upwards position that now turns this original resistance line into a support line. Okay, so we've got an original resistance line at this point, but because of the retest after the penetration here, the retest in this area, it's now called a support line. And the same happens the other way around. So what we've got in this area here is a downtrend, and this downtrend creates a support line. We've got 1, 2, 3 hits. Then the trend line, the horizontal support line is penetrated in this little area, and it's retested not once but twice in this example, once there, twice there, by those highs there. So in this example, the original support line, it now becomes a resistance line. Despite the fact that it didn't continue to go back downwards, the retest qualifies it as a resistance line. Okay guys, so that's it for this lesson. Again, if you leave us any comments or any questions, we will do our best to answer them for you, and we shall see you for the next video.